All right, so we're trying out pretty classic red, white, burn, small green splash off one Stomping Ground for some Destructive Revelries on the board is pretty typical. Got 3 copies of Risk Factor, and I definitely don't think you can afford to play 4 of the card, but playing 3 should give us a good feel for how often we're going to draw it. The old Risk Factor and Ensnaring Bridge combo. Well, so when you sideboard in Magic the Gathering, you don't just bring cards in, you also take cards out. So when I bring in Ensnaring Bridge, I'm going to cut my other 3-mana spell that's not good with it. Weird. It's this innovative approach I'm going to take of boarding out the card that's not good with the side card I'm sideboarding in. When you're trying to brew an aggressive mill deck, I just wouldn't brew an aggressive mill deck. We've tried aggressive mill decks multiple times on stream, and they're just bad burn decks. Just far less efficient than what this deck does. Yeah, Grixis Shadow isn't a deck I've played too many times, Brendan. So remember, the deck list, while there's a ton of awesome deck lists on my website isn't a list of every deck that's ever been played in Modern. My website is a list of decks that explicitly I've played enough to have opinions on how they should be built. Robo Reagan, thanks for the 7-month resub there. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Sultai Mill is not a Turbo Mill deck. One of the reasons why the Sultai Mill deck that we play on this stream I think is reasonable is because it's not trying to be a Turbo Mill deck. The Sultai Mill deck that we play on stream every once in a while that I continue accepting because it's a reasonable deck is a control deck that happens to have Mill as a win condition. I don't know that I believe that Burn would rather draw Flame of Keld than a card that just deals 3 damage. I think that's worth playing, Just a Box. We actually played, what's it called? Mission Briefing in our mill deck last time, and it felt very reasonable. Thanks for the free point. Nice Shivan Reeves. I mean, this matchup's bad for Storm if we draw Eidolon consistently, but if we don't draw Eidolon, the matchup's quite bad for us because their Goldfish is faster than ours. My gut tells me that Flame of Keld's probably just worse than Risk Factor on average, but I definitely haven't played games with it to know that. We might play Risk Factor and come to the conclusion that it's not good enough too, but that's what we're going to play this league and hopefully figure out. Glad to have you here, Mr. Manad. And this is the worst part about Magic Online. 90% of the waiting I do on Magic Online isn't waiting for people making complex decisions. It's waiting for people that are just like doing something else while they're playing. I love that the arena timer punishes people for doing stuff like this. You think there's an Experimental Frenzy shell in Modern? I do not. Experimental Frenzy is slow and clunky. Modern is fast and brutal. So I'm going to go ahead and just keep holding up Searing Blaze here to try not to die. I think the Blue-Red Phoenix deck in Modern is good. I don't know. I haven't played a good version of it, but that doesn't mean it's not good. I've yet to be impressed by it. All right, looks like our opponent's gonna die here. Morning, Jeff. Enjoy some cupcakes and thanks for the host last night. Glad you had a good stream extras. Huh. So, I just pass here with maximum interaction up, I think. Oh, I could just... Can I kill them? No, I can't kill them, right? I'm just going to pass with maximum interaction up here. I can only deal 9 this turn. If I'd have known I was drawing a bolt, maybe I should have hit them at end of turn, but I think we're pretty likely to win here, right? All right, they've got 6 mana. Do your worst. They have 6 mana. They're going to 5. They're dead on board. Yeah, probably. Probably. I should have fetched with Brow in this deck. That's a good suggestion. So they need Morphos, Creature... Gifts Ungiven, Ritual. So we could die here. They could have the perfects and kill us. Is this subtly one of the most offensive cards in Modern? It might be, right? It's like such a non-ambiguous free spell. Thank you, Punishing Waterfalls. Am I dead to Grape Shot, Remand Grape Shot? I don't think so. I am. No, yeah, I am. I'm dead to just second Grape Shot here. Welcome to Modern. Enjoy your stay. Manamorphose is the closest you can get to a completely non-busted Gitaxian Probe. It's pretty busted, right? Ollie might be first thing Wednesday. Yep, I can do it. I can do it whenever you want, but I can put it first thing if you'd prefer that. Just let me know. 100 bucks buys you your pick of the litter. So here's the way I evaluate hands like this. I keep hands like this in tournament Magic too. I Like, there are some people that'll poke up and be like, you'd never keep a hand like this in tournament. That's not true. I keep hands like this all the time. The way you evaluate a hand like this is, I ask myself the question, if I hit a land, how likely am I to win this game? And I think the answer to that question here is, if I hit a land, I am incredibly likely to win the game, which means the risk to reward ratio for drawing a land with this hand is very appropriate. That's how you should evaluate it. You shouldn't take risks for hands that aren't going to win you the game, but this hand is going to win us the game, I think. Okay, I'm a very strong favorite to win this game since I hit my second land by turn 3. I don't think it's a no question keep. I actually think it's actually a keep that's very much worth discussing. But that's why I think it's okay to keep this hand. See you next week, goalie. Have a good one. And yeah, I boarded out the risk factors. I boarded out the 3 risk factors. I brought in 2 rips and a Searing Blood. So these would have been risk factors. Yeah, just spreadsheets today. It's not an auto win by any means, but it definitely puts us as a strong favorite, I think. I assume they board and empty the Warrens in this matchup. Gosh, I wish I had some kind of... Somebody should invent a machine that counts the storm count. That would be really useful. Oh, look. Oh, look. There we go. There we go. Fifth spell's the charm. Yeah, there's the empty. So I charm them to 5, I helix them to 2, I Searing Blood a creature, kill them. Oh yeah, this doesn't work under Rip, right? Alright, gotta draw a spell. Yeah, Searing Blood doesn't work under Rip, that's true. Okay, so I don't want this Searing Blood in my deck. Because this Rest in Peace prevents things from dying. Alright, so they're putting... Is this enough that I don't live with Helix? That was 8, 16, so they're getting 18 goblins. Alright, let me Helix you, and then let's draw a land. So I can Searing Blaze kill one of these. Second Helix will do. Alright, we're dead to like bolts and stuff here, and there's definitely bolts in their deck because those kill Eidolon, but we have a chance to win here still. Am I dead? Sure. Oh, it's just like 1, 2, grape shot you. 1, 2, grape shot you. 3, 4, fall to the floor. 5, 6, 8. Oh shit. Yeah, keep cantripping. That's good for me. Cantripping. Yeah, we did it, we did it. I'm so charming. I'm so charming. Don't you find me charming, chat? I'm just gonna board in Skullcrack over this blood. This hand's not good enough, right? Kor Firewalker is not good enough. You only gain 1 health from Grave Shot. You don't gain a health for every storm counter, for every storm trigger. we're gonna play 4 Modern Leagues today. I'll be back with Arena tomorrow night. So I have a backlog of Modern decks I need to work through, so we're gonna work through those. Yep, have a good one. Remember, you can find a ton of my content on my website. You click videos at the top and click standard. Tons of videos up there on my YouTube channel. Is Pokemon TCG good? I really enjoy Pokemon TCG as a game. When I played it last. I haven't played it in like a year or so, to be fair though. Just not enough time in the day. It doesn't fit terribly well onto a cell phone. It's also kind of annoying to get cards in Pokemon TCG online. They have this weird hybrid model. What do I think of the blue-black fairies deck? I think Yuta is a much better Magic player than most people, and he beat people because they had a mixture of being worse than him and not knowing what was going on. Do I need to rest in peace here? I should probably rest in peace here, right? Am I supposed to rip, or am I supposed to just like start going upstairs? So this is 3, 4, 8. I guess I kill them next turn. Yeah, I'm just gonna smork them. Yeah, I actually demoed Keyforge at Gen Con. The gameplay in Keyforge was really good, and the distribution model for it is utterly idiotic. I have the Keyforge is the first time I've ever walked away from a demo at Gen Con and gone, man, this game is great. I would never give them money for it. Yeah, you can always find my deck list on the screen via the Stream Decker widget, or by typing !deck in chat to get a link to the deck on my Stream Decker page. What's the distribution model? So Keyforge isn't a deck building game. It's every booster pack has a pre-built deck in it. Oh, did we clip Keyforge? Sweet, look at that. Look at that. Their distribution model is bad for casual players and terrible for competitive players, which means I have no idea who it's good for. Because if it's not good for either of those, who is your game targeted at? Am I about to die? It's gonna be like a braid in to kill me. Unsubstantiated to kill me. It's possible I should have cast Rest in Peace this turn or held up Helix. Yeah, I'm gonna die. Keyforge is only a paper card game to start. Yeah, I think I was too aggressive and I should have just cast Rest in Peace last turn. Or actually, honestly, I probably should have just held up Lightning Helix. I'm a fan of it for I think for tournament play, if you're buying decks the day of and opening decks that you don't know what's in them, it's going to be fine. But if you're having people bring decks from home, it's idiotic. It will be more pay to win than the average TCG. Hey, what's going on, Robert Tross? Thank you for the 8-month resub there. I appreciate that. Welcome back. We very professionally drew the land here, so we get to kill them. Quick 2-1 start there. How we doing, folks? Welcome. Good morning, afternoon, night, wherever you're at in the world. Thanks for dropping into our little slice of the internet here. My name's Jeff Hogan. I'm a full-time streamer and content producer here on Twitch. Play a ton of Magic the Gathering on this channel. We play all constructed. We play modern here on Magic Online. We also play a ton of standard on Arena. If you're enjoying my content, please consider subscribing to my channel. My subscribers are the people that keep me employed here. I love what I do, but I wouldn't be able to be here day in and day out without the support from my wonderful subs. Past subscribing, you can also support my sub by checking out some of my really awesome sponsors. Harry's Freezers would like to help you get that nice, close, clean shave. Using code Jeff Hoagland, you can save $5 on your starter kit with them at bit.ly/HoogelShave. That starter kit can be as little as $3 with shipping. As an extra incentive, because the internet loves making me do things, if we get to 100 people using my Harry's code by the end of the month, last I checked we had 71 that had used it, I'm gonna baby shave my face. I'm gonna clean shave the beard off with my wonderful Harry's razor. Cardsphere.com would love to help you turn your cards into other cards direct with other players. There's no haggling. They just take 1% fee off the top. Great, easy way to get the cards that you're looking for in paper. InkedGaming.com would love to help you customize your gaming experience using code Jeff12. You can save 12% on custom playmats, mouse pads, binders, and bags with them. And of course, I'd like to welcome everyone out there to Hoaglandia. Thanks for dropping by our little slice of the internet. Remember, if you are enjoying yourself here, make sure you hit that follow button at the very least. It doesn't cost you anything. Let you know when I go live and with what. If you're hungry for more of my content after I'm done here today, be sure to check out my website as well as my YouTube channel, jeffhoagland.com. You can find all of my videos archived there and a bunch of awesome deck lists for both standard and modern. On the draw here for match 2 with Risk Factor Burn. This is a pretty easy mulligan. Just like no second land, not a lot of 1-mana spells. This again is very good. I'm gonna bottom that. I feel like our average draw is better than a Rift Bolt. We are gonna play Griselbrand in the league after this one, so I'm planning to run through this league with Risk Factor Burn, and then we're gonna play Griselbrand and then Abzan Devoted Ooze to wrap the day up. We're gonna be having I've been on a huge standard kicker since the format's gotten exciting. So I've built up a little bit of a modern backlog, so I'm going to be working through a bunch of the modern decks in the queue for the next couple of days. So we're doing 4 modern decks today. I'm planning to do 2 modern decks tomorrow morning, then I'm planning to do 4 or 5 modern decks on Saturday as well. Yeah, I think Discovery Dispersal is very good in Griselbrand. So feeling incredibly sad that I bottomed the Rift Bolt and then drew mono lands. But here we are. If they are a Hallowed Fountain control deck with Path to Exile, Risk Factor should be very good here. That being said, Sea Crump Coast is a strange card to see inside of a control deck, so that tells me they might be doing something like Spirits or Midrange or some kind of Brew, perhaps. Am I streaming during the PT or am I streaming around it? I'm going to stream Modern during the PT. I'm going to be doing some Standard tomorrow night after the Pro Tour. So tomorrow morning, I'm going to do Modern during the draft rounds. And then Saturday, I'm also going to do Modern during the draft rounds and maybe overlap Standard a little bit too. You just can't let the queue build up too much. Yeah, you can feel free to direct message me on Twitter. My DMs are open there. Oh. Risk Factor would be a pretty good draw. I'm going to play this land out so that way if we draw Risk Factor, we can play it twice in the same turn. Yep. Looks like Blue-White Spirits. So we have 7 lands, but we've only drawn 5 of them, right? Like we got Path twice. So anything remotely aggressive is Risk Factor out and Ensnaring Bridge in. Probably want the Searing Blood as well. Pretty clean. Yeah. Yeah, Burn. So Burns one of the decks in Modern that's very good. It top 8s events all the time, but it's also a deck that I would never play personally at a tournament. Burn is a deck where it gives you a very minimal number of points to leverage play skill. A lot of what you do with Burn when it comes to beating people with the deck happens during the deck registration portion of the event. You beat people who are bad against Burn. You beat people who have poor draws. You beat people who stumble. You beat people when you only draw 3 lands in 12 cards. Like that's how the Burn deck. But that's not saying that it's completely devoid of skill, but in relation to other decks in the format, such as say, you know, Green Blackrock or Blue White Control or Mardu Pyromancer, those a little bit more interactive decks, there's less decision points where you can use your experience as a Magic player to your advantage. The Dredge video from yesterday ended abruptly because Dredge generates miserable games of Magic regardless of which side of the table it's on, and I wasn't having fun, so I stopped playing. Never forget that even when Magic the Gathering's your job, it's my job. Having fun while you do it is important. This is a game, and if your game stops being fun, you're doing something wrong, and you need to reassess what you're doing and why you're doing it. It's a good draw. I probably shouldn't have shocked there. That might have been wrong. What's the best version of Infect right now? I don't actually know. It's probably blue-green, but I really liked the Sultai build we played on stream recently. Felt like that had a lot of play to it. What's the Harry's count? I think we were at 72 last night. 71. 71. So this Helix might get us across the finish line in terms of racing here. Yeah, it is unlucky. He was no longer enjoying Hearthstone, so he stopped playing Hearthstone. Which is great for us. It's awesome to have a great content producer like Savitz come into the Magic community. It's brought a lot of people in with him. It was posted that Savitz is helping cast and playing in the Artifact tournament this weekend too, so I'm probably gonna tune in for a little bit of that. I don't know where I personally am at on the Artifact stuff, but he's someone I'm interested in watching. I think I'm supposed to kill this Jog Skull Captain here. This might be wrong. I don't know. Like, it's going to trade with my Goblin Guide otherwise. I think that's just too much of a departure tank engine. I have seen people splash black for slaughter games in the Titan deck, which seems interesting. Yeah, Arena's been nothing but good for Magic. I think talking about Magic being more competitive is some nonsense. Like, arguably so, and this is going to be a hot take that'll piss off some of the Magic players in the audience, I think. I think one of the reasons why Magic's a better game than Hearthstone and resonates with more people is Magic's a better game because it has more variance in it. One of the reasons why I think Magic is so successful and Hearthstone is less successful is because Hearthstone doesn't have enough variance in it. From my time spent playing Magic and spent playing Hearthstone, I think Magic definitely has more variance in it than Hearthstone does. The fact that, like, you can expect to see every card in your Hearthstone deck most games adds an absurd level of consistency to what you're doing. Yeah, variance means randomness. I think a lot of people incorrectly see the word random printed directly on a Hearthstone card and assume that means the game has to have more variance than Magic, which does not have the word printed on most Magic cards, but the resource variance in Magic gives the game an absurd degree of variance. Yeah, so because Hearthstone doesn't have resource variance in it, in order to try and keep the games interesting and dynamic in Hearthstone, they have to build the variance into the cards that you're playing with. Which is why the word random is on so many Hearthstone cards. That's their way of creating variety of gameplay. Hearthstone definitely, Hearthstone very likely has a larger player base. If I said Magic was more successful, I was incorrect in saying that and I didn't convey what I meant with my words correctly. What I meant was why I think people coming to Magic are enjoying it more than Hearthstone is because of the variance. Risk Factor is not in my deck. And honestly, so we were talking about Artifact earlier today. A lack of variance in Artifact might be a big negative for the game. Like, there's a bunch of people that talk about how they want this really low variance game. I think those people don't understand what they want. They don't want chess. They don't want Go. Like, variance in a card game creates variety of gameplay, which is what gives games replayability. In fact, the lack of variance in Artifact might be what has led people to say that their constructed format's not good, if I had to venture a guess. A lot of people I've talked to have said Artifact's constructed format right now is not good, and a lack of variance could contribute to that. Bob, thank you for the 9-month resub there. I appreciate that. Welcome back. In my opinion, this card was a brutal beating. I am very sad. Anywho, in my opinion, good variance serves to create a variety of gameplay. That's what you look for in good variance in game design, in my opinion. Do I just ship with both of these? I think I ship with both of these because with the fetch land, Grim Lavamancer can kill Thalia next turn. The problem is if they keep Thalia in play, and then if they keep Thalia in play and they leave up Spellcaller next turn, I'm kind of just screwed. So I think I need to give myself the ability to activate Grim Lavamancer next turn. So I get to do this. I get to attack with this Goblin Guide. I'm going to pass the turn. It feels bad that I don't have a target for my Searing Blaze this turn, but I think it was necessary to kill the Thalia. Probably going to go ahead and end step Lightning Helix here. All right. Let's draw a land, chat. Let's draw a land. A very good spot if we draw a land. Unfortunate. That's fine. We'll probably have a Searing Blaze target at some point. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with Hearthstone as a game. Hearthstone as a game is very fine. So, never forget, chat, this game's a good example of the best kind of card advantage you can get in Modern. Killing your opponent with cards in their hand is the best sort of card advantage that exists. Give me a land. Hey, Tank Engine, thanks for continuing your sub gift. I appreciate that. Welcome back. So, do I want to... It could be right to Searing Blaze plus Grim Lavamancer, the Spell Queller, but the flip side of this is I can just like 2 them here and then like suspend Rift Bolt, play Eidolon. So I think that's much better for me. It's possible I should also just like activate Grim Boy this turn. So they're at 6. I've got a bunch of good creatures in play here. Yeah, I don't think they're in a position to beat Eidolon plus Grim Lavamancer plus us having spells. If they don't have anything, they're dead here, right? I Lavamancer the Mausoleum Wanderer. I Searing Blaze the Rattle Chains. And then I Rift Bolt the Spellqueller. They could have a Spell Piercer or another Mausoleum Wanderer, because this gives them flash. You're super right. I totally forgot to add it. I'm making a note now. I'm sorry about that, Recon. I appreciate the support. I'll make sure that gets added in after I'm done today. The Shadow deck was okay. Mausoleum Secrets was really good. Delver was kind of bad. So far, we're 2 for 2 on playing matchups that were aggressive or linear. And we've looked at our risk factors and gone, this card's too slow, please go to my sideboard. So I would not be too surprised if the conclusion at the end of today's stream is risk factors probably fine against like fair decks and just terrible otherwise. Whitman, I was the one who took your green black Reckless to day 2 in Atlanta. I wanted to thank you again. I didn't think I'd have as much time to test the deck as I'd like, but your content gave me enough insight to feel prepared. Well, thank you for the support. I appreciate that. Hope you had a good tournament, fun tournament. Lead on Grim Boy here. Jeskai Queller seems like an interesting shell for that. Yeah, I don't know that we have good tools for this matchup. You got a few Destructive Revelry and that's about it. This probably isn't a matchup where I can afford to stumble. And this is one of their better curves. It's like scales into Ballista. Ensnaring Bridge and Rest in Peace are like, okay. If you get them out together, they're pretty good. They can kill you with Walking Ballista through Ensnaring Bridge. This turns off their modular triggers. This is another matchup where risk factor is poop again, though. I'm watching with a newish Magic friend, and I can't correctly explain why Red-White Burn is better than Naya Burn with Wild Nacatl. So, I don't actually think Red-White Burn is strictly better than Wild Nacatl Burn. The difference between the two is basically how much interaction you expect out of your opponents. So if you're playing matches where your opponents aren't going to be blocking your creatures very often. I actually think the Nactyl builds of Burn tend to be a little bit better than the straight red-white builds are. But if you don't expect your opponent to be interacting with you, if you do expect your opponent to be interacting with, like putting creatures into play that block, there's diminishing returns on the Wild Nacatl as you move into the late game and want more live cards off the top to just kill your opponent directly. Trying to make an argument saying Hearthstone doesn't make any money and operates at a loss. You know what you should do to that person, Robert? There should be an arrow in the upper right-hand corner of their post, you should be able to mute or block them. Your life will be better for doing so. Jeff Bezos kept trying to take my future sword away by letting me forget to resub, but Abraham Lincoln won't let me down. Thanks for the support, veteran. I appreciate that. I don't know. They have double ink moth here. We're just not gonna be able to race. I'll move along to the next game. Our start was very good here. Generally speaking, the point at which you lose with the burn deck is when you start pointing your spells at their creatures. That's about the point where you lose. What do we feel about this? This might be overboarding. I don't know. Risk factor and Eidolon don't seem risk factor and Eidolon don't seem very good. Day 2 was not so good, but I learned a lot. One thing I took away is that I would like to have some surgical in the sideboard. There were surgicals in the board of my green-black build, but man, there's 2 in the list on my website, right? Do you mean more than 2? Yeah, my green-black deck on my website is 2 in the sideboard right now. I haven't updated that for a little bit. They've been there like since I played the team open. Yeah, but like my hand's gonna be completely empty. Like my deck is full of 1 and 2 mana spells. The idea behind the bridge is that my hand's gonna have 0 cards in it. Yeah, sometimes the cough just gets out there. Sorry. Usually I'm pretty quick. Turn 1 scales 2 games in a row is gonna be a tough nut to crack. Oh, I guess I just kill it, right? JK. This thing kills enchantments too, that's why it's great. Yeah, you can always find my latest iteration of decklist on my website. So like articles and stuff like that become dated, and all of the pages on my website for both modern and standard decks, those are living articles. So as I think about decks and make changes to them, I make updates to them on the website. gonna go ahead and do this here. Changelog's just too much work. It's already it's already a lot of effort to put together stuff on the site, and it's hard to measure exactly how much direct money I get from it, so TLDR is I already work 60 hours a week and I'm not working another 10. I think activating the Grim Lavamancer is better here than attacking with it, just because like I'm gonna have like a basically endless supply of cards here until they die. Like by the time I run out of cards, they should be dead. So I've got 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, so they're dead if I draw a burn spell next turn. My website's not a Google Doc. My website's WordPress, and the deck lists are using an embedded plugin to embed a Stream Decker deck list, so things are formatted and have mouse over card images. If I just like had a crude text list typed up, yeah, it would be pretty simple to like add revisioning. You could argue that there's kind of a changelog built into my website by default as is, because there's a playlist under every deck list of YouTube videos, and the YouTube videos have the deck list that's used in that video in the YouTube description. So you could always go back and look through the playlists to see how the deck changed through the playlists, what my opinions were as we played changes. The problem with automating the stuff that I do, Brad, is that in order to automate a lot of the bits and donations, I'd have to have a ridiculous amount of catch-alls. Maybe it's worth it at some point. I don't know. It's tough. Because, like, I don't require people to format deck list submissions in a specific manner. Did I have a 9 to 5 before streaming? I was a stay-at-home dad before I started streaming full-time. And before that, I worked as a systems analyst for a major insurance company. And then before that was grad school. Bash is so miserable. Python is wonderful. I don't think risk factor is better than a creature. I think risk factor is really bad against anything remotely aggressive. They're just going to give us cards and then kill us. Is this the about automation time? Yeah. I am 27. Man, 3 for 3 on scales on 1. Oh, they mulled the 5. I'll complain less. They mulled the 5. You can have your scales on 1 when you mull the 5. You can automate donations going towards decks already in the queue. Yeah, the problem is like people typo deck names and all sorts of different stuff like that. There's a lot of it's theoretically possible, but it would take a long time to get configured to a point where it would be functional. And like, it really doesn't take me that long to like total donations at the end of every stream. No, they mulled to 5. They had 3 cards left and they played 2 cards on 1. Children make your hair fall out. So I'm not offended that you thought I was older. Most people do. I'm going to go to attack with Goblin Guide here because I don't think they're going to block. And then post-combat, I'm going to go ahead and fetch shock and Searing Blaze this. You know what? I should have played the Sacred Foundry to Searing Blaze the Ballista. Everything is simple till you take people into account. Ain't that the God's honest truth? Programmer's rule of thumb. You make something idiot-proof, and they go and make a better idiot on you. It's just the stone cold worst. I honestly was not expecting this block. I've done so actually when I worked at the insurance company before becoming a full-time meme here, what I ended up doing by the time I left, they actually didn't hire me to do what I was doing by the time I left there, but by the time I left, I was automating people's daily work using VBA and Excel, which that is as miserable as it sounds. VBA is a miserable language. But I added a lot of efficiency to what they did at their company. And accounting for lots of ways that different people do things is, yeah. Did I also talk to my boss with that loud voice? Yeah, when I was presenting in a meeting, I presented what I was giving to the audience in a strong, powerful way. Because having a strong voice projects confidence in people because it makes them think you know what you're talking about. Even if you don't, it sends the message that you might. I project my voice while I stream for a number of reasons. One of which is I have some formal training as a stage actor. The second of which is I've spent time teaching in a classroom as well. So talking in a manner such as this is necessary to make your voice heard over a classroom of teenagers, and even sometimes adults, really. Kill that one. My friend wanted to build and play a Sultai deck at Regionals this weekend, and we just took your green black rocks and added 5 cards to the sideboard. He wanted to tell you thanks, and he hopes it is Spark Trooper. That is definitely a worse version of the normal deck. I really don't like green black rock splash blue cards. If you want to play a Sultai deck and you go to my website and look under the fan favorites section, there is a Sultai control deck that I think is very reasonable. It's not just green black rock splash bad cards. The other reason that I'm loud while I stream is because being loud while I stream and projecting my voice helps keep my energy up. And if you look at what I have here in front of me, while Arena has fancy effects and stuff like that, Magic Online is very bland. The only energy present while I'm streaming Magic Online is the energy that I put into Magic Online. So if I'm not being engaging and excited, my gameplay isn't engaging or exciting. We might lose the race to this Walking Ballista. I guess I could also kill them next turn. Any 1 mana 3 damage spell kills them next turn. This gives us some redraws. We're actually dead to Arcbound Ravager here. They'll kill us with the Ink Moth. I'm very good at talking to myself, though. Lava Spike. All right, let's go ahead and pass here. We're dead in 3. The good news is, because we have another turn here, 2 damage burn spells are also lethal next turn, which is nice. Sure. We could lose to having overboarded here. They're gaining 3 power a turn on this Walking Ballista. So we're going to 18 here. So this thing, we've got 3 more turns till this kills us. Just gonna skip my hand empty. That one's not particularly good here, but we're gonna go ahead and get the hand empty. There could also be an argument to playing the other bridge out to Enslate against a Nature's Claim here, because we are dead to Nature's Claim. But they've already played a Nature's Claim and they haven't played an Arcbound Ravager yet, which means there's definitely 4 Arcbound Ravagers in their deck, and there's only at most 3 Nature's Claim. So it makes most sense to play around Arcbound Ravager here and not Nature's Claim. That's a great way to describe it. MTGO is a tabletop Magic simulator, and Arena is a Magic video game. Yep, they're shooting their worker in response here, which actually takes a turn off the clock, right? So that puts them to 12 counters. Yeah, so we're actually dead in. We've got 2 shots to draw burn spell here. They're at 3. So we're dead next turn. Got one shot. What a skill-testing game of Magic the Gathering. GG's opponent. Grim boy, not so grim. Eggs are good. Well, thank you for the half a year entertainment. Thank you for the half a year of support. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me employed here. All right, we 3-0. Like I said, Burn's a real good deck. Risk factor's been poop. I think if this archetype wants this card, it's definitely not in the main deck. Modern's just so linear. There's so many decks where you're just like racing and they're going to kill you before you get to use the 3 cards. If you're expecting a ton of control decks in green black, maybe risk factor in the main deck is good, but truly the people's format, 2 people awkwardly maintaining eye contact across the table and counting. Yeah, they definitely had a lot of the key pieces of their deck. And like the reason why they're in that game too is like they need to claim their own thing at one point to gain 6 effectively. Yeah, Rest in Peace comes in because it shuts off their modular, which makes it harder for them to attack through Bridge with their Arcbound Ravager kill. Do I have Is It Drakes on the standard portion of my site? I don't believe so. Maybe I should throw that one up there. Risk factor is way better than Browbeat, but to be fair, that's an incredibly low bar to jump across. It does make sideboarding easy, you're not wrong. Random question. Roughly how many hours a week does it take me to maintain my WordPress site? It depends. Since I've got most of the deck list formatted on there now, it's probably somewhere sub 5 hours. It's a little bit of time here and there. All the things get added to the YouTube playlist automatically. All the YouTube playlists that populate on there, they update automatically when I update them on YouTube. So some of the updates that go to the website get done through YouTube. Yeah, I spent a lot of time getting all this stuff formatted in there. I actually have somebody that's been helping me with the standard deck list, which is why those got added onto there. I have someone that's there. They're putting up the rough frame, and then I'm just doing a couple of quick edits and publishing. Lapis, thanks for the 7 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me employed here. I have a master's degree in mathematics, so I student taught in the Chicago Public High School for a semester, and then I've taught at a variety of small colleges, community and public university, private universities too. Why don't I like Limited? I don't like Limited because the part of TCGs that I personally find engaging is the deck tuning process. I like being able to finish playing a set of matches of Magic and look back and go, okay, I learned this from my play today, and I can directly apply what I've learned next time by making changes to my deck list. Whereas in Limited, a lot of the skills that you apply, you learn, can't always be directly applied because of how you're, like, the skills that you're able to apply in a given Limited depend on what cards you're passed and what cards you open. I did enjoy teaching. Pretty much everybody who teaches in the United States teaches because they enjoy teaching and not for the money. Because getting paid, what you get paid to teach in the United States it's just laughable, especially as an adjunct. What did I enjoy most about math? Usually, I think graph theory is probably one of my favorites. Networking type stuff. God, these risk factors are bad. They're just bad. Why isn't this just a 3 damage spell? Can anybody tell me why is this not just a 3 damage spell? And the sad part was, as a math teacher, I got paid more at most colleges that I taught at, paid more for math teachers than they did for non-math teachers. Even Flames the Blood Hand would be better here, you're not wrong. If this was just like Shard Volley, they'd be dead here. Man, their hand was bad. I didn't see how low they mulliganed to start this game. If they kept 7, they definitely shouldn't have kept their hand. Yeah, Masters in generic mathematics. We are 3-0 in this league. We're about to be up a game here against Dredge, it looks like. This is definitely a Skullcrack matchup, right? Is this an Ensnaring Bridge matchup? Is this a bridge matchup? This might be a bridge matchup, right? Is PayPal donations or bits? I generally prefer bits because there's no risk of chargeback with those, but whatever's easiest for you. My number one rule is don't be picky about how the people that want to give you money give you money. This is just like a good burn hand, right? I can't mulligan this. Just like doesn't have our sideboard cards in it, but I just don't think I can mulligan a good burn hand. What's the saying? They could put $100 bills into the booster packs and the TCG players would complain that they folded the bills wrong. That seems like a really good thing, really good topic to point out with the recent UMA complaining. I'll take bags of pennies in the mail. Here's my P.O. box. Ship it. Yep, 1,000 bits to put a deck in. Nah, I've met Magic players, name it, show. They complain about $100 bills too. All right, turn 2, 8 power. Welcome to Thunderdome, chat. Enjoy your stay. Should I concede? Are we dead here? I can't win the game anymore, right? It's just like turn 2 and we can't win anymore. What keyboard do I use? I use a $10 HP USB keyboard. Maybe all 4 of their Creeping Chills are the bottom 4 cards of their deck. And we have a chance. I believe in you, Taylor. Run the distance. Get into that end zone. Nope, they found a Creeping Chill and they found a, Alright, let's run it back. Get to be on the play of this game. Let's have a rest in peace on our opener, chat, shall we? Rip. Easy mulligan. This is a good burn hand. Need to keep. Here's 100 pennies in the virtual mail. Well, thank you for the virtual pennies. I appreciate it. All those virtual pennies add up. Thanks for supporting my content here. The internet is wild. Twitch is basically crowdfunding my job. It's weird to think about. My job is crowdfunded. If I mail you 100 pennies, will you sign them and ship them back? My JH signature probably fits on a penny. I've playtested with multiple Pro Tour competitors. In my experience, the players who excel at Limited look for universal lessons during drafting and play. Of course, sure. And I'm not saying there's not skill. My comments on Limited Civilized Scholar aren't addressing Limited being skillful or not being skillful. In my experience, just the parts of my brain that Limited rewards me for being good at and the parts of Magic that it allows me to play just aren't the ones that I enjoy. So I assume they're going to conflagrate and kill my board here, but they're at 10, so let's draw Rest in Peace or a couple more burn spells and maybe win. Like, I know they have the conflagrate there, but I think it's correct to use the Swiftspear as a deal too. I don't know, there could be an argument that I'm just supposed to like Boros Charm this turn, let them conflagrate the Goblin Guide, and then Swiftspear next turn. Yeah, maybe playing the Swiftspear was wrong there. I could see that. It's also possible that they don't want to discard 4 cards from their hand. We've had so much fun together the past 4 months. Thanks for putting up with me. Thanks for the 4 months of support, Matt Maxen. Thanks for sticking around and keeping me employed here. Alright, they discarded a Creeping Chill, which is incredibly good for us. Unfortunately, we drew a land, which means we aren't live to kill them next turn. And how much are you selling our eyeballs for advertising? My advertising revenue tends to be between 10 and 20% of my income or so. Depends on the given month. A lot of my things, like the Harry's Razors is a good example. A lot of my advertisers have to do with how much my referral code gets used. So some of them are static amounts and some of them are variable. So majority of my income comes from the people that watch. Yeah, you don't need to send me any money to sign your cards. Just send your cards to the PO box and put a return self-addressed stamped envelope. If you want them returned in something more than envelope, donate a couple of dollars and I'll pay to ship them back in something that's more secure than that. But just send money to cover the shipping. Don't mind signing stuff. And let me know when you mail stuff, because I don't always check my PO box. It's on the other side of town. So I'm in the very fortunate position where if streaming suddenly started making $0 for me tomorrow, my wife has a full-time job and like we'd still be able to live. So I plan to sit here and stream for as long as the internet's gonna allow me to do it as a job. And then at some point, if that stops being an option, we'll cross that road when I get there. I'm so good at this game. I'm so good at this game. Rock Daddy, thank you for the 3-month resub. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me employed here. Well, we're 4-0 with the burn deck. Risk factor's been very bad. Burn's very good though, so we've got this. Marty doling out the sub giftaroonies. Happy sub Santa. What's going on? Thanks for the support. Yeah, I'm just not worrying about it, Shiny Psyduck. I have that benefit, right? Like I come from a position of privilege where not everybody has that opportunity to just like not have like this job is awesome, but it doesn't have a ton of security, but I also don't need security with where I'm at in my life. So I'm pretty confident that I could pick up an analyst job in town where I live. And like, my wife and I are pretty conservative people when it comes to how we spend money. So we really don't spend a lot of extra money, even though we make extra money now. Like our only added cost, so we didn't go out and like buy a new car or something like that. Like we send the kids to daycare now, but like if I suddenly didn't have this job, we wouldn't need to send them to daycare anymore. Although Declan really likes daycare, so we'd probably figure out a way to keep doing that. Well, that's not what I said. I don't need security in my job specifically. I have security in other parts of my life. So my children will be cared for and taken care of regardless of whether or not I make money here. But believe it or not, it's possible for your kids to be around other kids without putting them in daycare or school. It's very expensive. We pay more for daycare every month for my 2 kids than we do for my mortgage. Almost twice as much, actually. My daycare is almost twice my mortgage. Turn 1 suspend ancestral visions. Let's go! Light them up. They're on fire. Oh, 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 oh. Yeah, we are. Christy and I have been looking at moving since before streaming ever picked up. The extra income from streaming has accelerated our timeline a little bit. I think originally we weren't planning to move till next year. But I think we're going to be able to move probably by the end of the year, January or so. This is Risk Factor's time to shine. You are with no Drakes. You will do, Marty. I'm planning to do standard again on... I'm planning to do standard again Friday after the Pro Tour. Yeah, Scholar. We actually, blue-white Eldrazi is close-ish to the top of the queue. I think we're gonna play it either tomorrow morning or Saturday morning. We're just moving to somewhere else in town. So the house that Christy and I live in now is like basically effective. It's like a starter home. It was very, very cheap when we bought it 5 years ago. And it was cheap because it's an older house. So rather than dumping a ton of money into work in this house, we're gonna get something that's slightly newer and bigger. Just effectively less money and less work over time. We have an okay amount of space. So for people who aren't familiar with me, I live in central Illinois in the cornfield. So like space is really cheap out here. So like you can get like a 2,000 square foot home in where I live for like 150 grand. Like it's not expensive to live where I live. That's the benefit to our, we got copious amounts of space. People that are familiar with older houses though, so like the foundation in my house is kind of settled, which is shifted, and like there's like a crack upstairs in my walls, so like I need to refix up and touch up some of that and stuff before we sell. But like there's just gonna be like more stuff like that goes into maintaining the house as it gets older. Did I miss a sub? Ergo, I did. Here's to getting you to a 6-figure sell if you're not already there. Thanks for the support, Ergo. I appreciate the 2 months and welcome back. Sorry about that. I almost missed it. Yeah, Cook County is definitely not cheap. All right, they're down to 7. Yeah, I grew up in Cook County. My parents still live in Cook County. Well, they didn't give Taylor the D-Sphere, so that's good for us. You can subscribe on mobile using this link. All right, if Taylor hits them here, they're dead to this Boros Charm. And if they path Taylor, I get to Boros Charm and kill them with the other Taylor, potentially, if they don't have a Logic Dot here. I'm pretty sure I have Boros Charm pre-combat damage here. There are parts of Cook County that are okay. The further you get from Chicago, the nicer the areas get. There's Cook County is very large. Well, this league you would have loved, Diva. We've just been destroying people with burn. Did I just pass priority here? I think I'm just supposed to pass priority here. All right, they're pretty unlikely to have negate in their main deck, and they don't have Logic Knot up anymore, so I'm just gonna go ahead and charm them. All right, so Searing Blaze is really bad. Skullcrack is good. Destructive Revelry is fine. Grim Lavamancer is not very good. Bring in another Revelry. What do we think of this? So green-black is less grindy than Mardu Pyromancer, but it's also more aggressive. So green-black tends to be much better against the spell-based combo decks and decks like Tron than Mardu Pyromancer is. No, Blaze has to target the player that controls the creature. Oh, we could use it to trigger... We could use it to trigger prowess. Okay, that's funny. That's kind of... I actually didn't think about that. You're super right. We could have used it to just trigger prowess. Nah, I think Boarding and Rest in Peace in this matchup is pretty bad. I think I'd rather just have cards that deal damage to them. This hand's very good. Eidolon's one of our better cards in this matchup. And this should finally be a good risk factor matchup. If I picked up Red Black Hollow One, you think it's a good investment to buy into Dredge or Mardu because of the base amounting lap of overlapping cards? Yeah, I think if you can get those for minimal cost, it seems fine. I think all three of those decks are reasonable. I think I think Hollowed One's just a really good choice in general. There's a reason why, was it Martin Yuza? I'm blanking on the player's name. Pro Tour mainstay that did well at the Grand Prix with it. There's a reason why he did well. The deck's very good. I think we actually have, we're going to play Red Black Hollowed One this weekend. That one's towards the top of the queue. It looks like Hollowed One is third from the top right now, so that'll probably get played Saturday morning. For those of you that are Modern fans, I know I've been super hyped on Standard recently, but we're going to be getting back into doing some more Modern content. I'm going to work through the backlog on my queue. I'm doing 4 Modern decks today. This is our second. I'm going to be doing, what's what I'm searching for? I'm going to be doing, 2 Modern decks tomorrow morning. I'm going to be doing 3 to 4 decks on Saturday as well. I think I'm actually going to bolt this Snapcaster Mage here because given infinite time, this matchup tends to favor the burn deck. So I think I'm just supposed to keep their threats off the table. Yeah, this Standard format is just absurd. So good. Yeah, I plan to, that's exactly right. I plan to stream Modern while the limited portion's going on. And we'll probably have a little bit lower viewer count than usual, but the Modern viewer count's been kind of low recently anyway, so I think that's fine. No, I leave the YouTube comments off because I've never walked away from having read YouTube comments and thought to myself, man, that really enriched my life and made me a better person. I think I just start drawing cards here. So basically, how you want to win from the burn side in matchups like this is you just want to accumulate a mass of cards, and then at some point they tap out. You just like full boat them. What's my average viewer count? My average viewer count while playing Modern is about 900. My average viewer count while playing Standard is around 12 to 1500, somewhere in there. I think it's about 1400. And again, I'm going to Helix this Vendilion Clique because I think just keeping their threats off the table is ideal. Maybe I'm supposed to leave in my Searing Blazes for this reason. Yeah, thinking about more how this matchup tends to play out, I think I misboarded. I think I should have my Blazes in my deck, and if we get to a game 3, I'm going to board those in. Reading political opinions in Facebook chat is great because it gives you a really nice looking glass of the people that you don't want to have in your life. Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. It could be that I don't want all 4. I could see that. Sure. Risk factor looking real good here. Yeah, I feel like if these risk factors don't pull us kicking and screaming to a victory in this game, they're not worth playing. So I'm interested in seeing how this plays out. Because this is the style of game where risk factors should really excel. So if it's good here, it's probably worth playing. And if it's not good here, it's probably not worth playing. So the problem with Searing Blood over Searing Blaze is that if they path their creature in response to Searing Blood, they don't take damage, whereas Searing Blaze targets the opponent directly. You definitely don't want them in the main, Bob, but you probably know that. The result of this match and how we feel afterwards, I think, is going to determine whether or not I want this card. Because again, this is the matchup I want risk factor in. This is the matchup where risk factor should be at its best. Hey Bob, you're here. You've played a bunch of burn. Would you leave in Searing Blaze in this matchup? I was thinking I'm supposed to leave 2 to 3 in because killing their creatures means I get way more draw steps, right? Like their clicks and their Snapcaster Mage is how they kill me. Sure, I know they don't have a ton of targets, but they don't win the game if they don't draw the targets, is the thing. So obviously there's going to be games where it gets stranded in my hand, but the games where it's stranded in my hand, I think we're going to be winning pretty handily anyways. This might be aggressive. It's possible I'm supposed to just wait for a land. Like, turning a 3 damage into a 4 damage is probably not a worthwhile conversion. Sure, but if they're beating me with Colonnades, that means I can just Searing Blaze if they're beating me with Colonnades, Searing Blaze still deals 3 to them, and then, like, the floor was fine on it. Bob, we're 4-0 in this league, and we've won every match 2-1. We are 4 for 4 on winning 2-1, and this is game 2. This game does not appear to be going well for us. Oh. So, Chemister's Insight is not anywhere close to a strictly better hieroglyphic illumination. You silly Magic player who likes to use words with meanings that they don't have. This card cycles for 1 mana, which is huge in your deck with Terminus in it. It's not even just a better Glimmer. Like, Glimmer gives you 4 looks. Modern's a format that's about resource efficiency, getting more looks. Like, Modern is a format where having the right cards is often far more important than just having total number of cards. Yeah, that's a great way to think about it. Hieroglyphic Illumination is a split card. In your deck with Terminus, the instant speed draw is very good. And again, I feel like the way this game is playing out really shows why I want to leave some Searing Blazes in my deck. Because if the Snapcaster Mage just doesn't exist... Deal. Thanks for the time walk. That's obviously a misclick. I'm gonna try and kill this, in fact. They might bounce their Snapcaster, draw a card here. Yeah. Feel like we're pretty dead. Wait, did they counterbounce? Really? They totally counterbounced. Someone didn't look at the hats. Yep. I even put a hat on your Snapcaster Mage, opponent. These shouldn't be in my deck. This was a mistake. It is Risk Factor Fuel eventually. You're not wrong. Yeah, we are up again. I'm going to turn the Revelries into Searing Blazes back into Searing Blazes for the last one. I'm not suspending my Rift Bolt because the way you force your spells to resolve in a matchup like this is by waiting for one big turn when you're able to cast a bunch of spells, and then eventually they won't be able to counter all of them. I also know for a fact that my opponent has a Snapcaster Mage in their hand, and what they want to do with that Snapcaster Mage is snap Cryptic Command. And I ideally would like them to not be able to do that. Where are my basic planes at, chat? They're not even Wastelands. They're better than Wastelands because they don't put my opponent down a land. So I think my plan here is to end step. So I suspended the Bolt. I'm going to end step, Risk Factor off the Destructive Revelry, and then untap, and then have Bolt plus Eidolon going. I like them drawing with Hieroglyphic Illumination here. They need to get pressure into play. I'm going to try and for them in response. They have plenty of mana at this point. All right. All right, let's get on my Smork. And maybe Rift Bolt's better than Lightning Helix. That's probably the case. Resource efficiency. Oh. I really don't want the Lavamancer, chat. They have Terminuses in their deck and all sorts of other nonsense. Like catches up multiple creatures. I mean, this is a good burn hand. Was Risk Factor better than Exquisite Firecraft that game? I don't think it was. Brewski, thank you for the 2-month resub. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me employed here. Have you tested Experimental Frenzy in Modern? Why would Experimental Frenzy be good in Modern? Modern's not a format that really wants grindy, slow card advantage. It's a format about brutalizing people in an efficient manner. There's two copies of Searing. There's a copy of Searing Blood in the sideboard. There's a deck list on your screen via the Stream Decker widget. Alternatively, you can type !deck in chat to get a direct link to the deck list. We drew our 4th land, chat. For those of you that are studying, to be good burn players, I would recommend against drawing your 4th land in games that you would like to win. All right, Taylor, get in there. Taylor's gonna mess them up worse than the Republicans did to the district lines in North Carolina. He's gonna rail them, destroy them every which way. Celestial Purge. All right, how about Boros Charm? Chat, it's Jace the Mind Sculptor. The card literally is ruining Modern. Have a little respect. Have a little respect. The card is destroying Modern as we know it. Now they cast Timely and we die. Woohoo! Burn spell. Burn spell. I mean, if we don't win this game, could you imagine if this was just a burn spell? Could you imagine? Okay, thank God. Thank God it drew us a lightning bolt. Whew! 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 I was about to be a little upset. The risk factors aren't good. Cut them. Cut them. GG's, opponent. All right, we got the Hawaii 5-0 with burn, despite the fact that risk factor was kind of poop. It was really, really bad. It was basically bad all the time. Look at all these blue cards, chat. They were gonna play turn 4 Jace the Mind Sculptor. How could we ever beat that? Yeah, burn's great. We talk about how great burn is all the time. If you're looking to punish people who want to feel like they're smart, this is a great deck for you. If you want to feel smart, probably not a good choice, but if you want to brutalize people who want to feel smart, this is a great one. Yeah, I think risk factor just didn't do enough. Hey, License to Pill, thank you for the bits. I appreciate that. Support my content here. Yeah, I don't know what I would replace the risk factors. I would just recommend going back and looking at stock red white burn lists and starting from there. So yeah. All right. What are we doing next?